Ben Simmons is definitely not going to make the March 10th game against the Sixers at home to the Sixers.
Oh, no?
They got Ben Simmons starting at level 1. Kyle Korver is teaching him how to shoot from like you remember when you were in like PAL League and like they would stand you in front of the rim and you'd have to shoot with one hand and then you like go around the basket and get comfortable. That's what Kyle Korver. He's a personal. He works for the Nets. He's a personal development coach. He's like one of their assistant coaches. And there was footage of him teaching Ben Simmons. And all it reminded me of is it's like when you play in like youth basketball and they teach you like these basic, like this is how the ball leaves your hands.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my dude's been out of it for a while. So, I mean, he does need the practice, you know?
I mean, not that he never could shoot before, but it's like, you know, if I see one more video of Ben Simmons shooting a jumper in a gym, like not in a game, I'm going to lose it. And it's, you know, all they do, like all of a sudden people think they're getting this theoretical version of Ben Simmons. Like he sucked like literally a month ago or like half a season ago.
Yeah.
And Benifer Simmons, you will never show your face up at Wells Fargo ever again. Bet it.
Sports.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Stuff About Sports. I am the Facebook felon germ, and that is, of course, the prettier Corey, Bert. Bert, what's up, man?
What's up? Doing good. It's a weird time. I know we said this last week, but it is a weird time for sports with nothing going on. Thanks a lot, Rob Manfred, you piece of shit. Because we can't even talk about who's looking good in spring training and who's doing this and everything else. So, I mean, look, we still have basketball and hockey, and I'm sure we'll reference some obscure sports, but yeah, I think the sports blues are hitting a little bit, man.
Yeah. Did you see today? They put a deadline, February 28th. If there's no agreement to the CBA, they're going to start canceling regular season games, and we're docking your pay. They're playing hardball. So Monday. Yeah, if there's no agreement, we really will see the effects of no baseball, man. This is getting crazy.
Yeah, no, that's wild. So the Yankees decided to retire Paul O'Neill's number on August 21st, and he wore 21, so it's appropriate. So I jumped on tickets Tuesday. I think they were released, so I jumped on tickets to go because he was like one of my favorite players for the Yankees. And after I bought the tickets, there was a small realization, like, fuck, man, this may not even happen. Like, what am I doing? I'm spending money for a season that's literally up in the air right now. So, I mean, thankfully it's in August. So, I mean, it would take a lot for them to cancel that game. But man, it sucks. Scary.
Cameron, what's up, man? You're supposed to be at school, but you have COVID. Sorry to hear that, brother. Hope you get better. Oh, good. Yeah, we're gonna have a pretty good show for you. We're gonna do top 3, bottom 3 halftime shows. We're gonna raise the question if LeBron James is a bad father. I don't know. I mean, you be the judge. There's some weird things going on there. And just the Allstar Bleek-end with the NBA producing one of the worst dunk contests I've ever seen, one of the most useless All-Star games I've ever seen. And but first up, the Super Bowl. Odell Beckham, he's 29 years old, Bert. He had successful ACL surgery on the same ACL he tore last year, and his baby is healthy. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl. I didn't pay that much attention because I don't care.
Yeah.
But either way, shout out to the mother, shout out to the baby, shout out to Odell Beckham and shout out to Bert's pop filter.
There we go.
There it is.
There it is.
Well, listen, the pop filter's been around the block. So
it has,
yeah. It has. So
stretched that thing out quite a bit.
Yeah. So I was thinking about it, Bert. I'm like, man, you know, he finally has a Super Bowl, right? Great, good for him. He's 29, coming off 2 ACL injuries. I get it. Like, you know, love of the game, all that stuff. But honestly, if I'm Odell Beckham, I should probably think about retiring. What do you think?
Look, he has nothing else he needs to achieve. Like that was the goal for him. Like he was chasing the ring, and he has it now. And it wasn't like one of those where he got hurt early enough in the game and didn't produce. I mean, at that point he had already caught a touchdown. He made an impact. So, I mean, at least he can say, like, not only did he win a Super Bowl, but he also helped contribute and was a part of the Super Bowl. He's a great wide receiver, but by no means do I think he's going to be chasing a gold jacket. So Should he retire? Yeah, he probably should. But you know what? He's a competitor. Honestly, and granted, tearing the same ACL, that's wild to me, especially in today's technology of repairing it. But
Right.
I think he's going to want to try to do it again. He's just going to want to keep playing. I do think. When is his contract through till?
I think he's a free agent, or like I think he only had the 1 year left now. And so I think he's technically a free agent. Don't quote me on that. I don't.
Yeah, his deal with the Rams was a 1 year, 1.25 mil. Yeah, that was yeah. So he could potentially, yeah. I'm trying to see when it's back in November. So yeah, I mean he's good to go somewhere else. I don't know who would take him, and if he does go somewhere else, is he ultimately going to be able to keep up with these other receivers? But
he did say he would entertain a pay cut to stay with the Rams. He loved it there that much. So
okay,
good. Take that for whatever.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kenny Tuttle. Listening to your show reminds me how enthusiastic discussions we all had in the kitchen. This is awesome. Thank you, man. I appreciate you for checking in on us. Kenny Tuttle, I served with him in the United States Air Force, so thank you for your service. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks.
The only person that comes to mind is Keenan Allen, right? He had 2 ACL injuries. Now, I don't believe they were on the same leg, but he doesn't have a Super Bowl. He's chasing that still.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned he's probably not a Hall of Famer. I don't think he is, but I mean, they're giving out Hall of Fames for one-time performance Super Bowl rings now, Bert. I don't know if you've been paying attention the last couple of weeks. I mean, they just give out Hall of Fames if you win one Super Bowl now.
Handing them out.
They're just handing them out like candy. A lot of people took. I made this statement on the Stuff About Sports Instagram page, which you can follow at Stuff About Sports, by the way. And of course, you get these neophytes and troglodytes on the internet who call you names and call you stupid and whatever because they disagree with your opinion. Let me tell you something. When you talk to the Stuff About Sports Instagram page, you're largely talking to me, and I got to be the first to tell you, your tears and your anguish are like PEDs to me. I love it. I love it. Keep it coming. Well, you can't say nothing to me that is going to shake my resolve. Matt Stafford ain't a Hall of Famer. Neither is OBJ. And OBJ should probably retire. So moving on.
He should. I mean, I don't know why.
Yeah. Love of the game is probably the only thing. And I mean, I guess there's it largely for me would depend, right? If Aaron Donald retires and the idea of running it back just to see if you can do it, I guess would be,
he should. I mean, he should look into other sports too. He's never played baseball, but he said he's always wanted to. And there had been that footage of him taking BP, just crushing it. Now, granted, it's BP. I mean, so I mean, they're throwing soft in there, but but still, I mean, some good swing, man.
Yeah, I mean, and especially at the age of 29, baseball is one of those sports you can play into your 40s. We've seen it done.
Yep.
Especially now with universal DH, if he turns into some type of hitter, again, I love that. It's going to extend the careers of a lot of guys. MLB, do the right thing. The San Francisco Giants, do the right thing. Sign Barry Bonds as universal DH so he can restart his Hall of Fame eligibility. Even though, Bert, I don't know if you know this, but I read that there's like a separate committee that can kind of overturn that. Like he still has a chance. I might have that wrong. There's like a board that can kind of put people in the Hall of Fame, but I didn't really dig deeper.
Yeah, I'm not certain on the logistics behind it. I think it is like how the pro football has like that separate eligibility of Hall of Fame for. I think they can, but I mean, in all honesty, and we talked about this past couple of shows. What they need to do with that whole process is just fucking blow it up and make it more normal. Stop 100%. Letting these shit beat writers be able to vote on greatness and call it a day. And then MLB just needs to stop fucking up, plain and simple. They're doing it with this season. They did it with history. I mean, they still won't let Pete Rose in just the Hall of Fame, which is ridiculous. Just grow up, Major League Baseball. You look like a bunch of doofs.
And especially now, like you can't afford to be having the CBA. Like we talked about it last show. Go check out the last show on YouTube. But it's very frustrating how baseball just continues to fuck shit up on their own. Like the number one rule of the streets, Bert, don't fuck up the money. And that's what Rob Manfred and all of them are doing right now. So speaking of good deals, though, there's bad deals like with the MLB. There's good deals right now in the NFL. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson laying the smackdown to the thought process, to the fourth wall in sports. XFL and NFL actually agreeing to a partnership where the XFL will essentially be the testing grounds for new rule implementations. I read somewhere that like new referees that would wanted to come and join the NFL referee ranks would get a start in the XFL, and that'd be their bridge.
Yeah.
Obviously,
like a farm system for referees, right?
A farm system for referees. Yeah. XFL already has proven to be somewhat of a farm system, even though an unofficial one. Yeah. PJ Walker, most notably, XFL MVP, was signed by the Carolina Panthers and actually started a couple games during the season. So even though that's not like an official developmental league, I guess you could say, but it is a gateway to the NFL, obviously. So yeah, they're going to innovate some other rules together. They're instant replay comes to mind. We talked about that on the show.
Yes, several times we've talked about that. Yeah.
Oh, NFL, please. XFL has instant replay done correctly. Please, that'd be the first thing. That'd be if you took anything. If anything came out of this, the instant replay, how XFL did it was amazing. So, what are your thoughts on the NFL and XFL agreeing to work for each other? What do you think?
I think it's great, and I think it all came through now that The Rock basically owns the XFL, and I mean he has the right people's ear and saying, "Look, if there's one thing The Rock is good at, it's making money." And I've said this time and time again: if that man sells shit-flavored protein shakes, I would fucking buy those protein shakes and I'd drink it with a smile on my face and say it's actually not that bad, because that's how much this man markets anything he touches. So when the XFL went under again, he swooped in, purchased it, and said a couple years out, we're going to bring it back. I think 2023, it's set to return. And he already got in the right individual's ear by saying, hey, let's stop competing with this XFL versus NFL, or we'll just be the stopgap in between when football ends, the NFL ends, and then it starts back up again. How can we continue to develop this relationship? And man, I don't care if they use it to experiment with rule changes or instant replay or a farm system for refs or a farm system for players. It's just good. You look at any other major league sport, there's a farm system for their players.
Yeah.
Why not for football? And I get it. It's a somewhat different sport, certainly a different roster, but man, I mean, it could be one of those things where, I mean, we're looking at constant football. And that's just the thing of beauty. So look, I'm all for it. I'm especially all for the testing of different rules and hoping the NFL adopts it, because the biggest thing for me is, can we please stop taking away just the doubt of a bad call? Or I'm tired of hearing salty ass fans saying, oh, well, if they didn't throw that flag, then this changed the whole momentum. Well, guess what? Coming up in the future, we'll have the technology to be like, hey, listen, we got it right. There's nothing about it that could have went wrong. It was called fairly because we're using technology, and that's that. So look, man, let's go. I am all for it.
We big XFL fans on the network. All of us were really into it when it came back, especially when we realized it wasn't like the he hate me.
The gimmicky stuff.
The gimmicky stuff. It was a really good league. The ratings, once it got mid-season, you had to go to like the Ocho to find it for some place, but the attendance numbers were great. So I had no doubt that it was going to be successful. Typically, when a new sports league or anything, a franchise, a team, it's already understood that you have to dig yourself out of a hole for 3 years. This, it got cut short because of COVID. They couldn't sustain it. They said, we're just going to wait, stack up money, and they'll be back better than ever. This only helps them, honestly, especially. So COVID might have saved the XFL. Maybe it'll become even more popular now. It would start this week, Bert. I think last year it started like 2 weeks after the NFL. Like I think there was only a week break, and it would be on and popping. So hopefully next year, February 2023, we'll have some XFL to watch. Go DC Defenders, because North Carolina doesn't have a team. They are technically the closest by proximity. All right, Bert, NBA All-Star Weekend. I know you're not. I know you don't consume a lot of NBA, but I know you've seen it on social media.
Yeah,
you've seen it on sports talk, TV, and radio. I'm sure you've seen some YouTube to see what the hell happened. Do you have any thoughts on what the hell happened in Cleveland?
What sucks is this is like the last All-Star game to really be played. I mean, if we're looking within the past 365 days, and I think what's happening, at least for me, is I'm just over the All-Star games. I am. I'm all for skills competition, but even then, train wreck. I think part of the problem was having it in Cleveland, but hey, it's Cleveland.
Worst city in America.
Yeah. But on top of that, I mean, no one, I mean, even, and I love hockey and the skills competition. But the only reason I watched any bit of that is because I was at a restaurant and it happened to be on the TV. Otherwise, I wasn't going to make sure I was home to watch it. And rest assured, as much as I love that sport, I wasn't going to make sure I was home to watch the actual All-Star game with hockey because no one wants to risk injury. No one's playing hard. You're
100%.
watching a sport that you love where everybody's just playing soft. And if I want to do that, I can videotape my friends at a roller rink, just fucking play, just messing around. So when this weekend came around, it was just kind of the end of everybody just being like, why are we still doing these things? Why not just halfway through the season, elect individuals into what their all-star, let's top all-star team. Like, hey, congratulations. Halfway through the season, you've done it. You were voted an all-star, similar to like Pro Bowl ballots for the NFL. And then you have that on your record. Like, hey, I was voted an all-star. Call it a day. Why play the game? Why do that? I mean, I get it. A lot of fans like to go to all-star games. I don't understand why, because it's meaningless. But yeah, I'm over it. If we were to sign a petition saying stop all all-star games, I'd be all for it. Let's just go. It would make the season like much better because you don't have that weird awkward break for 2-3 weeks in between. So it's just I'd tell you what, as an alternative that we can talk about in another show, because I know it's not even built in, but as an alternative, I would much rather send a select all-star team to go play in like a 2 or 3 week tournament against the world, similar to the Olympics, when the IOC and players associations and these major sports leagues aren't being complete pussies about it.
For sure.
And just go and compete. Hey, we're sending you our best from this year. Who can go and top that? Not to sound like an elitist American, but like who's going to take on us? But because at least I know that they're going to go and they're going to play hard and it's going to be a thing. But
certainly not Russia. So how I feel about, I knew this was going to be bad when I checked in on the celebrity game, Bert. And let me tell you, I had no idea who was out there.
Yeah. To be fair, I think, and I'm speaking purely on me, I think I've just reached a level of old man status where the popular celebrities, I'm just like, who the hell is this? Like, what is going on?
So here's the thing. I said that. I said, it's me. I'm old now. There was like 2 people, like Machine Gun Kelly. I knew who he was. There was like another 2 or 3
skeleton,
people. Yeah, Jesus. There were like, then I started researching people and I was like, oh, these are just a bunch of YouTube dudes and chicks. Like, that's all that is. There was a couple ex WNBA players, I believe. There's an ex NBA player, like Anderson Varejao, that goofy Brazilian guy with the long curls who used to play with the Cavaliers back when LeBron was there as a kid. He was in the celebrity game. Like, for what? As soon as I saw that, I guess because he was in Cleveland. That makes sense. But either way, if you have the dig for Anderson Varejao, that was when I knew that this weekend was going to be awful. And then, the rookie, they did like a interesting rookie sophomore game where they had 4 separate teams. It was like a little mini tournament. That was pretty cool. And then the 3-point contest, was what it was. And like Karl Anthony Towns, a center, won it. Like, times are changing. The dunk contest was absolutely the worst thing I've ever seen. They had a player who plays for the Magic come out in a Knicks jersey. His dad played for the Knicks. So he wore his dad's jersey and put Timberland boots on and then proceeded to miss like 4 or 5 dunk attempts before he finally did it. They had a stat that there was only 27 misses out of 40 dunk attempts. Like, that's over half.
Which is atrocious.
It's atrocious.
By the way, that is awful.
And then you have the game where, the game's the game. I like how they changed the format where they play to a point total for each quarter and the money goes to wherever charity. I felt like it was a little bit more competitive than recent years. However, a couple fixes. Go back to the East and West format. I don't like the draft. I like the advantage of East and West. How you make it competitive out of that is you keep the format, but not the winner of the All-Star game. That team, whoever the MVP is of the game, that city that he plays for hosts the next All-Star game.
I like that.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
That'll give them something. That'll give everybody something to play for.
Yeah, and it's something where you give them something to play for, and it's not going to affect like how baseball used to do it with like, oh yeah, the winner they get home field advantage for the World Series, which was the dumbest thing they could have done.
Yeah,
but I mean, given light, I mean, no, it's not the dumbest thing, but still. But yeah, that was ridiculous. But the fact that you're just hosting the next All-Star game, that's great. Because then that means you're playing for your city to get the revenue for that game and to actually bring, notoriety, especially to individuals that play in small markets too. I mean, you play your ass off. You bring an All-Star game to a smaller market, go for it. Why not? Problem is NBA, they want their money. So they want to put it in like, good baseball markets. I was just looking at that celebrity list. Like there are a couple people on there that I knew. Like Jack Harlow and other things, but like like who cares? It's like just like but MLB All-Star Weekend, they do the celebrity softball game, and you're just like, I like, this is great. Yeah, celebrities, like I get it, but no one cares. Why? Because this game is obsolete. I don't care. I really don't.
I'd much rather have a Legends game. Like,
yes,
I'd much rather have obviously I'm not asking for Bill Russell and Dr. J to come out there, but I'd love to see Tracy McGrady and Richard, the guys who are on ESPN right now. Like, I'd love to see, the big three. I know
MJ wanted to go one-on-one.
MJ with Magic. Like that'd be cool. Like, I would love to see MJ and Magic and Larry and all the older guys. Play horse, do something. People would like stuff like that. But I would the 3-point contest, I would open it up to WNBA players and legends. Reggie Miller, the guy, like, because it's a 3-point shot. Anybody, you could do that until you're 60. Open it up to not, because some of the 3-point contestants, I'm like, who? But open it up to WNBA players. I would involve the WNBA more in the All-Star weekend as well. I would love to have that. I'd actually mix them. I
mean, look, why not, right? I mean, other than, I know there were a couple in the celebrity game, but like, why not intertwine them? I mean, the game doesn't matter. The game don't matter. Playing.
Would it be better? Would it be better if you did at the end of the season All-Star games, or no? You don't, not really, right? Because like the Pro Bowl, you don't get people that want to play.
The Pro Bowl. I mean, but even if I gotta be honest with you, even if the Pro Bowl was like on like Christmas week or something like that, like I still wouldn't give a shit. Like I just don't. Like I'm at that point where I just don't care.
Pro Bowl had 6.8 million viewers, so I know a lot of people say they don't watch it, but that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people that watch it. So
a lot of people.
Pro Bowl. There's an odd number of games. The winner of the Pro Bowl, that conference will get the extra home game when they play the outer conference. That's how you fix the Pro Bowl. You get, those teams want those extra home games. So that'd be something idea. Cool. You just have to create these incentives. The dunk contest, never do that again. You had a bunch of nobodies who barely play, aren't dunkers. What you do is you open it up to the street dunkers. If you haven't had the pleasure of watching Jordan, and I believe his brother's name is Chris or Carter, starts with a C. Kilgannon, street dunkers. Open it. There's a bunch of them on YouTube. They come up with the most amazing dunks without any props. There's no Timberland boots. There's no cars. There's nothing crazy. I would make if young players, because the Lebrons and the high end players aren't going to do it anyway. Oh, if a young player can dunk, then let them dunk. But open up to the street dunkers, and how you make that incentive, you give them a signature shoe deal if they win the dunk contest.
Yeah.
And the street dunkers, bring them in, man. It'll involve basketball. Basketball, All-Star weekend should be a celebration of basketball. If the All-Stars aren't going to participate properly, make it a celebration of basketball. And do it that way.
The street dunkers, like trick shots, like the stuff that like you look at social media accounts where it's just like these unbelievable shots that they feel. I mean, why not? Like let's do something to make it somewhat exciting. But yeah. I think we're just hitting a point where something needs to change. Otherwise, no one's really going to care. And we say that when we say no one, it's like me and Germ. Like, let's be honest here. I mean, Germ, over 6 million people watch the Pro Bowl, but but I mean, I have seen on social and other talking heads too say like, why are we still doing this? So I know it's a sentiment that's shared by many. Yeah, and we just got to figure out who those 6 million people are that watch the Pro Bowl and be like, did you really have nothing else going on that day? They're nothing else.
I mean, Bert, there was some paint drying, and I know I did that. All right. So here we go. LeBron James recently said that he will. Now, he didn't say he wanted to, Bert. This is how much power LeBron has. He said he will, doesn't care where it's at, will play with his son wherever he's drafted. And a lot of people He said at that point, he don't care about money. He's super rich, whatever.
Yeah.
He said, I will play with my son. Whatever team drafts him, I will sign a 1-year deal so I can play with my son for a year at least.
Yeah.
So immediately everybody ran and said, oh my God, LeBron, that's so amazing. You're amazing. You're the best dad in the world. And I sat around and I looked at it and I said, no, he's not. Like, that's awful. That's the worst thing you could do for your child. You're LeBron James. Your son is coming off the bench in high school. Mm-hmm. The problem is, and so with the NBA, you have to be 19 and a year removed from your graduating high school class. So 2023-24 is when he will be drafted, right? Not next season, the season after. LeBron will be 40 years old. I said, man, that's a lot of pressure because he's not a freak athlete like his dad. Again, who knows where he's going to be in 2 years, but he's pretty short. He's not overly imposing. He's ranked 42 in the country in high school prospects going to college, if that, and I said, man, that's kind of, a team in the lottery is going to overdraft him for the simple fact that they're going to get a 40-year-old LeBron James, where we don't even know what he is because he's quickly breaking down now. The Lakers are in a bad spot. And it'll play for him for a year, and ESPN is going to, gobble those LeBron James balls like they always do, and it's going to be a great thing for a whole NBA season. All we're going to talk about is how LeBron and okay, you get the father and son duo in the NBA, great. Yeah. What happens after that? What happens when Bronny is on the Thunder, by himself, having to lead them, and he's not ready, and he's not that good, and then in turn they passed on somebody that actually could help the team, and that person goes to like the Trailblazers and they win the title. You know what I mean? What happens then? That's a lot of pressure on the kid, and the media and the fans are ruthless, bro. And that's all I thought about. I'm like, man, it's a lot of pressure for this kid. I don't know if that's a good move for LeBron.
I think they'd be ruthless anyways, if they had LeBron's help or not. I mean, you're LeBron James's son, so I mean, the second you step into it, even if you you are good enough to go right, to be top draft, if you're ranked number one overall in high school in the country, and you are no matter what, when LeBron came in, it was that it's this greatness comparison we see every single generation. When Sidney Crosby stepped in his skates, everybody's making the comparison to him and Wayne Gretzky. Same thing with LeBron and Jordan. I mean, you look at these guys, and you want to, they're good, and you instantly want to compare them to the best you ever known. And in Bronny's case, it's his father, and that's something he will never. At least LeBron could be like, me and MJ, I mean, we're just different, like in many different ways. Like when it comes down to your actual father, especially who, I mean, regardless of what your argument is or not, Germ, is a very talented basketball player. He's always
number 2 of all time in screw you, ESPN. You're out of your mind. And then you put Kobe 10th. All time, unbelievable. Okay, I'm sorry, Bert. Go ahead.
That's okay. That's quite all right. But you looked at it like this. I looked at it as though he's guaranteeing job security for his son. So I was like, okay, that's nice. Like that's good for him. I honestly if he's ranked 42 now, if it doesn't improve, are you going to see teams? I mean, maybe teams that have nothing to lose can absolutely go for it, but teams that are looking to rebuild and actually compete. Maybe like a non-super team who knows it's just not going to be their year. LeBron's going to be playing in I don't know, Memphis or something. I don't know. Is Memphis any good this year? I have no clue.
No, they're good. They're really good.
Okay, well then pick a team that's just doing terrible.
The Thunder. Thunder. Cool. That's why. Yeah. And on top of it, the Thunder in 2023, because they've been doing ever since they got rid of Westbrook, they've just been loaded. They have 4 first-round draft picks in that draft. So, and they'll probably tank until then. So,
it may as well. I mean, it's great for that city because they'll obviously sell a lot of merch and they'll sell tickets as a result for individuals to see what only few other people have been able to do, from the likes of I think it was the Hulls in hockey as well as the Griffies in baseball. I mean, not many people have been able to do this. So. Yeah. But is a lot of pressure on Bronny? It is, but to the same point, I think Bronny's sitting there smirking yo, it's going to happen for me thanks to that comment,
Yeah. It's funny because I tried to separate artist from the art on this. Yes, if I was LeBron and I could had the opportunity to play with my son in the NBA, Absolutely. It would.
Yeah.
I don't know if he should be publicly pushing it though. You know what I mean? Like it's now you put the Lakers in a bad spot because now there's a clock, right? Like now it's like, hey, I'm out of here no matter what. Like 2023, 24, if we don't win the title this year or next year, guess what, guys? I know my contract's up, but there's not going to be no extension. There's not going to be no 1-year deal. There's not going to be any type of move that you can make that will entice me to stay because I'm going where Bronny goes. The odds probably, again, the Thunder, because they're going to have 4 first-round picks and they probably can get more. And if they tank, there's a good chance I'll end up with the number 1 overall pick plus whatever. They could actually build a decent little team with LeBron, Bronny, and then their other draft picks, and also depending on who comes with LeBron. It's crazy. So A-Rod is going to hire the Bronze with the Timberwolves. Hey, it could be. It could be because they're about to blow that thing up pretty soon.
Well, we always speculated that this was going to happen with his contract and how it ended out and when Bronny was eligible. So this had always been out there. He literally spoke it into existence.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, good for them.
Yeah, good for them. Like I said,
look at that, but look at it this way: 2 years after Bronny's in the NBA, if he's not being successful, everybody's gonna have him be like the Joe Buck effect. Hey, congratulations, you're only here because of your dad.
Yeah,
like good job. That's what it is. And speaking of Joe Buck, I don't know if you saw this. I just saw an alert that Troy Aikman is a good chance he's gonna leave Fox to go for what they're saying. They're saying ESPN. This was maybe an hour ago. I'm looking.
Yeah.
Anyways, some breaking.
Yeah, I remember there was some. He had some beef. He had some beef with Fox because he felt like they put them on the lesser game during the playoffs. Like he wanted to go to.
Oh, boo-hoo. Does his fucking paycheck, does he take any less as a result?
I don't know. I feel bad. Like they always put him on the Cowboy games. I don't know if that's by design, but I think that was it. I think he wanted to do the Cowboys playoff game. But you dodged a bullet, buddy. They lost. So whatever. All right, Bert. Halftime shows. The other reason why I knew that the All-Star game was going to be bad in the NBA. Did you hear Macy Gray's national anthem? Whatever. Oh my God, it sounded like a cat was being throat fucked by.
Didn't she do this before? Bad. Didn't she?
She did. She sang something. I thought that too. I was like, man, she sang at something. But again, if she did, it was like many, many, many years ago. And she probably sounded better, but she's not a anthem singer. You know what I mean?
We're gonna put in the likes of just like Fergie, like worst of all time.
It's up there, bro. It's up there because it was one of those things where they panned to the players and you could tell that they were trying to contain their reactions. Yeah, you found it?
I did. I'm gonna have to listen to it later.
Yeah. No. Take your earphone off. I want you to just listen to the first few things. We will wait. I want your reaction to this.
All right, let me see. I don't know if the audio is going to pick it. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
All right, that's an ad, so I'm going to mute that.
Yeah. No, we do ads here.
Here to perform the Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah, I can hear it.
An acclaimed singer, songwriter, and a Grammy Award winner from Canton, Ohio. You see by the dawn's early light what so proudly
all right, not
no.
Not as all right.
So the beginning, everybody does good in the beginning, right? You got to wait until like they really get into it and they add their own little sauce to it.
Okay.
Like it's probably towards the end, but it's.
I think this is where it's going to take off.
Now watch. This is where they get their stuff.
Yeah, that does. Nah. Yeah. Oh, they just paired LeBron and Steph, and they're both just sitting there biting their lip. Yeah.
It's bad. It's bad. And I love Macy Gray. Yeah. Trust me. But this is. I get that they had to Ohio it up. I get it. But it was bad.
Well, their mayor played in the All-Star, like in the celebrity game.
Yeah,
so I mean,
cool.
Look, go for it. I mean, Canton, Ohio, Football Hall of Fame, been there twice. Outside of that, I guess I have to go visit the birthplace of Macy Gray next time I'm there because other than the Football Hall of Fame and shit there. But that
sounds like there's a lot of it sounds if it's anything judged by her voice, there's a lot of asbestos there. So
hey, that asbestos can make somebody a lot of money if you sing like Macy Gray. Yeah.
That's true. I got to check my military records. I think I have asbestos.
So
we're talking about performances, Bert.
Yeah.
You mentioned last week's show that we should do our top 3, bottom 3 halftime shows because we witnessed Dr. Dre and we were part-time gangbangers for the 20-30 minutes that they were performing. It was great.
They came out of retirement for it.
Yeah, it was great. So how do you want to just do our top 3 and then give the bottom 3 together?
Fuck it, let's go for it. I'm happy to go first. I will say I have 2 honorable mentions. First honorable mention is Bruno Mars and the Red Hot Chili Peppers 2014. I like Bruno Mars and I think he's incredibly talented and his music has changed over the years and I still like it. But that halftime show was dope. It was cool. He did his thing, man. And the Red Hot Chili Peppers came out. Why not? Let's do it. The other honorable mention was that 2004 Super Bowl where Janet, Diddy, Nelly, Justin Timberlake, and a boob. And I'm not talking about Kid Rock. Yeah. So overall, for 2004, for what that is, that's a solid lineup. I graduated high school in 2004. Okay. And let me tell you, on any given day, my playlist definitely had Nelly and Justin Timberlake. You better believe it had Diddy on it. Kid Rock never had him on my playlist.
Never. Yeah.
But no, I still don't to this day. And then you still had Janet making tunes. And the highlight of it, obviously, was the controversial accidental wardrobe malfunction. They knew what they were doing, Jack. They just wanted to play it simple.
The explanation was he was supposed to rip off she had like a red something underneath the black something, and he ripped the part off, but the whole thing was supposed to come off. But the only reason why I don't buy that is because she had like the star pasty, like why, like who wears that? You know what I mean?
Who wears that
nobody,
under what is supposed
under
to be everything else? Yeah.
So
I just think she needed a bigger. If she went with a bigger pasty, it wouldn't have been an issue. I don't buy it, but you also got to understand the second it happened. Anybody could have came out with a statement, but you were going to have the crazy keyboard warriors just like there were children watching and everything else, and you're just like Jesus, like get a grip, like come on, it's a boob. Everybody's seen one. So, but yeah, honorable mention only because the lineup was great. The tunes were good, despite Diddy's and how still to this day say he was lip singing about it. But other than that, Nelly sounded good. Justin was cool too, and the set was cool, and Janet did a good job as well. Kid Rock can fuck off. Anyways,
fuck you,
so
Kid Rock.
My top 3, starting with number 3, and this is no disrespect. You got to remember, top 3 out of what are and now I think up to about 40 halftime shows, if not more. Number 3, 2013, you had Beyonce. One of the greatest performances. And look, we all know when you say the holy name of Beyonce, it's Beyonce. I don't care what she's performing in. She could perform in a backyard somewhere where it's just her performing for Jay-Z and her kids, and it could be live televised. It's going to be the best performance out there. Plain and simple. And that halftime show was great. You had Destiny's Child come out too, throwing it back to early 2000s. And of course, all of her great hits since then. Had to love it. Number 2, this past halftime show. Nobody can change my mind on this. Plain and simple. You had all of the greats who are from, I don't want to say Cali because Eminem is not, but I mean, what Dre has built. Yeah, Dre, Snoop, Eminem, Kendrick, Mary J. Blige. Honestly, you had an upside down 50 Cent. They were playing all of the hits that Germ, you and I grew up with, and then some. The set was dope. The dancing was cool too. Honestly, it was just well produced, well done. No one was bored. You even had Kanye in the stands going nuts about it too. It was an awesome performance. And Eminem showing respect and kneeling to, even though he was told not to. You just had it all. So that's going to remain certainly at the top of my mind of being a really, really solid performance. And number 1, this is probably on everybody's list because I just rewatched it again this week, and God damn it, is it good? And that's Prince in 2007. How can you? The only thing that mildly came close when I was reviewing all of them. So Justin Timberlake did one. I think it was back in 2018, 2017, where it was just him, and he had an awesome performance. He really did from all of his stuff. But he did. It was in. I think the Super Bowl at the time was in Minneapolis, so he did a Prince tribute at the end of his, which was absolutely awesome. But you go back and you watch Prince's halftime show. No one will ever beat it. Some at the tail end of his career when he came back as the artist formerly known as Prince, but he sounds absolutely amazing. He's it's just, man, he's one of those where when I was growing up, he was a little bit before my time, but you didn't appreciate the artist until later in his career. And then after he passes, and you go back and you listen to his stuff and you're just like, man, he just produced hit after hit after hit. And he just showed it at his Super Bowl, man. It was, or Super Bowl halftime show. It was awesome.
Yeah. So I didn't for Prince. I grew up with him in my house. My aunts, we're big Prince fans. The one thing I didn't realize what made me appreciate him more is how many songs he wrote for other people. For in all genres. Like,
well, look at how many instruments he plays too.
He's God,
genius,
true artist. And after the suit, that was when he got his name back, because the reason why he went from artist formerly known as is because his old record label wouldn't give him the rights to his own music, so he became the artist formerly known as, released different music, got his rights back, and then here we go. What's your bottom three?
Ooh. Bottom three. Number 3, the Blues Brothers, 1997.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell?
Yeah.
First off, John Belushi was dead.
Yeah.
His brother was standing in.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, they had already made 2 terrible sequels to the first one. And I gotta be honest with you, the first one,
yeah,
like I don't care for it. But when you have a fictional blues singers from movies and TV, a sketch comedy show, if you will, headlining a Super Bowl halftime show with special guest ZZ Top.
Yeah.
What is going on here?
Yeah,
we're doing things ass backwards. So no, I don't care. You can tell me there was a tie-in for the location. You can tell someone approved that and they thought it was a good idea to have John Goodman's old ass flopping around up there for 1997. Nothing against John Goodman, by the way. Royal Gemstones. I started watching that on HBO. Brilliant, and he's in it. And it's absolutely hilarious. Anyways, but no, Blues Brothers, 1997, terrible. A more recent one, Maroon 5, 2019. No. Why?
Yeah, Maroon 5.
They could have brought out any special guests that they wanted to throughout them. It was just going to sound like Adam Levine's whiny ass, just like throwing a cat against a chalkboard repeatedly. It's just not good. And I'm not talking nails on chalk. I'm talking literally throwing cats at a chalkboard. Yeah.
That's funny.
And then number 1, the Black Eyed Peas. That's right. More terrible than Maroon 5 and the Blues Brothers was having Fergie's dumbass in a weird ass robot costume trying to sing all weird songs and leather outfits. Same thing to you, Will I Am.
Yeah.
It was just terrible.
Yeah.
And look, a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, it wasn't that bad." I want you to go back and I want you to watch that in its entirety and try not to pause it, skip it, or turn the volume down. Like just do it all, and then you'll be like, "Yeah, no, it wasn't that good." So those are my bottom 3.
I believe Al Qaeda used that video as tortured.
They did. They actually stopped the waterboarding and they just started playing that.
Fergie doing the national anthem and the Black Eyed Peas
back to back. And we gave up a lot of intel as a result. So
they stole all that oil. So Prince obviously is my number 1. I'll just do my top 3 because I think it's pretty obvious. Prince, it rained while he did Purple Rain. What else? What else is there? Number 2 for me is this Dr. Dre performance. It was perfect. It was perfect. Everything. Obviously, there's a lot of bias because this was our era, like the definitive version of our era. We got everything out of it. And then I'm going to go Michael Jackson, number 3 in '93, saying "We Are the World." Had the whole. It's Michael Jackson. So it's that one was good. My bottom 3, I'll start with 3 was the Black Eyed Peas. The only good thing that came out of that performance is that it probably killed the Black Eyed Peas popularity. We stopped hearing from them after that. Like it was over. It's odd that you take a music group who primarily uses a lot of auto-tune and post-production and you gave them live mics. Like they can't sing. Like all of their stuff is synthesized. And I don't know why they thought it would come across great as a Super Bowl halftime. I guess I get it because they were wildly popular at the time. Yeah. But it was bad. So
it was so bad. For reference, the site I was able to get a full list of all of the halftime shows that had the description for the Black Eyed Peas in particular. It says, "The worst, just the worst. Watching at the time, you instantly knew you were witnessing something magical and special, like a unicorn coughing up blood." Like it's just like that's it. That's the sentiment shared by everybody. Yeah.
Number 2 on the bottom 3 is ZZ Top and James Brown. I have nothing against ZZ Top. I do like some of their music. Obviously, I have nothing against James Brown, Godfather of Soul. However,
they were outshined by the Blues. They were outshined by the Blues Brothers. That's the thing. They gave more airtime to the Blues Brothers in that one, and it was like a special appearance by ZZ Top and James Brown.
The problem is they're like none of that screams Super Bowl. Like that's not the demographic. You know what I mean? And not to mention like ZZ Top hasn't been popular for like at least 10 years before that. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like that's like, that's like the next year's Super Bowl. And you're like, yeah, we're gonna have Beyonce and then like Afro Man. You know what I mean? Like it's like we're past that now. Like it's over. Nobody wants to hear it. So and number one, Bert, this one was easy. Hey, do you like awful choreography performed by 5-year-olds? Do you like hearing It's a Small World 3 times, 4 or 5 times? Do you like hearing messages from President old Herbert Walker George Bush in the middle of it? That's right, folks. This one was near and dear because it was my Bills versus Bert's Giants way back in 91. That was the Disney Kids and New Kids on the Block. It was awful.
Yeah.
It was awful. It was a promo for Indiana Jones movie. It was Disneyed up. It was just a bad infomercial. Went back and listened, and I love New Kids on the Block. Shout out to Donnie Wahlberg. But I mean, holy hell, that it was bad. It was just, I was like, man, what's the damn thing called where they put like product placement? It was like it was a large product placement advertisement and brainwashing for Disney. They advertised the Indiana Jones ride for Disneyland in it. It was just it was just awful. And then in the middle of the bad performing, they stop for 5 magical minutes and we get a special uniting message from George H.W. Bush.
George Herbert Walker Bush.
Oh, like, wait, what? You go from like youthful exuberance and corny songs to like old ass decrepit George Bush. It was awkward and it was bad. So that's my bottom 3.
Should we stop the halftime show?
No, because I do think because it's the Super Bowl, there's a marketing, you have to make money. It's the biggest show. All eyes are on it. That's why the commercials cost $25,000 for 30 seconds. I get it. I get the halftime show. If it's good, I love it. If it's bad, it's awful, especially if the game is bad. Because if the game is bad, you better give me a good halftime show because I'm not sitting there for nothing.
Yeah. So
I don't mind the halftime show. The problem is you have to read the room, take the temperature. Like, don't have ZZ Top out there. Like, they should now, like Coldplay and Beyonce, and that's a good example. Or like the Bruno Mars, Beyonce. I forgot who the third person was on that group, but like when they do stuff like that where they kind of merge genres.
Yeah,
that's cool to me. You get everybody involved because there were some hilarious social media posts of young kids bopping to this Dr. Dre shit, and they pan to their old ass white ass parents, and they are just mean mugging the TV because they have no idea what's happening, and that's funny to me. Visually, it's funny. Like they don't like Dr. Dre, they don't even know who he is, and but like if they had like Dr. Dre and like I don't know, Dolly Parton or something, that'd be pretty cool. Like I think that'd be.
I would, I'd pay to see that. Believe it or not,
I think they should do that more. I think they should give us something like get these people together that don't typically. You wouldn't think they would work together because I think it's cool, and I think actually would do a lot of social, not social justice, but it would be socially kind of inspiring. I think to kind of merge genres and figure a way to make it work. Obviously, you have to get people that are kind of similar, but Dr. Dre and Dolly Parton's an awful example. But like a modern country singer and a modern R&B or whoever, pop star, like somebody in the same area.
Over the past 10 or 20 years, they have enough performers now where if they like the next Super Bowl, and I'm saying this on record today, so if the NFL steals it, we can go get paid. But like if they wanted to do like a through the years Super Bowl halftime show where you have the Bruno Marses, the Beyoncés, the Dre's, like that, and all of these can be pushed together from a genre wise. I mean, half these guys have collaborated with one another, so why not? I mean, you had J-Lo, Shakira, I mean, you had all these other artists. I mean, shit, do it. Like, just add them to the bill. We have artists now like J-Lo and Dre and everybody that, I mean, Dre hasn't been producing much music lately or at all, but like, I mean, you've had J-Lo who's still making music and doing these things. So, I mean, why not? Bring them back, bring them together. Except for you, Kid Rock. Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you, Kid Rock. All right, Bert. Who do you want to give your game ball to?
I think it's easy. Brian Flores.
Yeah,
man's been through hell and back. I mean, now getting a job with Pittsburgh. I mean, I look at this as a great move altogether. He's with an excellent organization and an excellent head coach, and it could be potential succession planning too. It's sad that's the way he would have to get a job because he's clearly capable. He's not inept at all. But I mean, overall, I mean, under Tomlin, yeah, that's absolutely huge. And I'm just glad he found something and it wasn't career suicide, plain and simple.
Yeah, shout out to Brian Flores, shout out to Mike Tomlin, shout out to the Pittsburgh Steelers. My game ball goes to Coach Juwan Howard. You're damn right. Smack him. He, now granted, he didn't smack the coach that actually started the whole thing, but
no,
it is what it is. Like, I'm glad that he only got a 5-game suspension and nothing more. Who cares?
Yeah, he's lucky.
He is lucky, but again, he didn't start it, so but he finished it, so that counts for something. But shout out to him, not taking no shit from some of these coaches. And obviously not getting fired, which is also a plus. So I'm very
that was I thought for sure he was going to get fired.
I thought so too.
I mean, which sucks because look, no, he didn't start it. Yes, I mean he lost his cool, but you can't do shit like that. Like you just can't walk away. And what sealed the deal and why I thought he was going to get fired because this isn't the first time he's pulled shit like this before.
Yeah.
So look, I mean, granted, however heated you were, he just wanted to move through in the handshake line. He was stopped. They had words. Things escalated, but by the time he threw hands, the moment, I guess, had already passed. Thankfully, he only got 5 games and he's not out of job. I know there's a lot of Wisconsin fans that feel as though he should be out of job.
Of course.
But I mean, look, it is what it is. He's going to be watched very closely now because if he even breathes the wrong way, they're gonna axe him immediately. I think they have to. I'm
shocked that Wisconsin coach. What's his name?
Greg Gard.
Greg Gard. I'm surprised that he didn't get suspended either because he did incite the altercation.
He got fined. He should have at least gotten a game, if not 2. Look, and everybody's going to sit here and be like, oh well, Michigan was pressing, full press with 30 seconds left, and that's why the timeout was called so they can regroup, even though they were up by 15. And look, I get. Look, what he did was annoying. Legal, yes, but annoying. Yeah, you're gonna call a timeout. Why are you gonna do that bitch move like that? But still, it's within his rights to do so. The mistake and what a lot of people are overlooking is the fact that there's no explanation that needed to happen. It's not like Gard was going to change Juwan Howard's mind about why he thought he was a piece of shit in that exact moment. I'm sure he was hearing from it on the side or the court side anyways. So why stop him? Why put your arm on that man's arm to slow him down and stop him and just get everything have everything blow up? You had players out there taking the lead by both coaches who are yelling at each other, pushing and shoving each other, throwing haymakers. I mean, you don't put yourself in that situation. So Gard should have got at least a game. I mean, unfortunately, Juwan Howard made an awful decision to throw hands.
It was a bad look, but I get it. It was bad. So, but again, with Gard, I mean, think about it. Anybody knows the history. He had a racist on his staff.
He did.
Somebody recorded a private message that they that the school ended up suppressing before it got to the media. There's always something going on with him.
So, he had someone on the staff using the N-word. He had a black player end up leaving, citing that it was just not a good environment to be in at all. But hey, this is unfortunately what you see. School's not going to say shit. They're going to do their own investigation and not release anything. I think it's just a matter of time before something comes out. But I mean, yeah. I mean, you look at him, but I mean, his actions. I mean, separate from that, just not warranted, man. Just keep moving.
Old Mama Edwards said, "If you can't raise them hands, you better not raise your voice." We'll talk to you next week.